There's a kind of silence that doesn't happen in cemeteries. It happens at birthday dinners, and it happened to me. The night I realized I wasn't part of the family. Not really. Not anymore. It was Emma's 22nd birthday, and I had spent 3 weeks choosing the right gift. It wasn't expensive, but it meant something. A necklace, silver, simple, worn at the edges. It had belonged to her mother, my sister, who had passed away 2 years earlier. Her mother had given it to me on my 30th, and now I was giving it back. A full circle. At least, that's what I thought. The dinner was at a restaurant downtown. Private room, dim lights, white napkins folded into little swans. The kind of place people post about with captions like blessed or cherish every moment. I arrived early. I always do. I like watching people walk in, seeing how they carry themselves. Emma arrived last. Hair straightened, makeup perfect, wearing heels I knew her mother would have hated. She hugged everyone, smiled for every camera, even greeted the waiters with more warmth than me. When she got to me, she leaned in. No eye contact, just a soft, "Hey, thanks for coming." Like I was an afterthought. She moved on, sat in the center of the table, flanked by friends, distant cousins, and her dad. I watched. I remembered her 3rd birthday when I dressed as a clown to make her laugh. Her first heartbreak when she ran into my arms, instead of her father's. Her graduation when she asked me to pin her hair like her mum used to. But tonight, I was just someone she invited. I placed the gift under her napkin. Didn't want to make a show. Didn't want to ask for attention. The night went on. Toasts, laughter. Stories that Emma barely remembered but laughed at anyway. Her dad gave a long speech. Talked about how strong Emma was. How proud her mother would have been. I smiled at that, because I knew it was true. And I also knew how many nights Emma had fallen asleep in my lap, whispering, "Don't go. Don't die too." Then someone, a cousin from her dad's side, asked about her college applications. "Who helped with your essays? Did you get tutoring?" Emma tilted her head, smiled politely, and said, "Oh, I had this mentor through a program. They were amazing, literally saved my life." I blinked. What? I was the one who sat with her for hours, who rewrote her first draft 5 times, who printed mock interview questions, who cried when she got accepted, but no mention. I sipped water, then came the toast. To Emma, her uncle said, for growing into the strong, independent woman her mother dreamed of. Everyone raised glasses. Emma stood, thanked everyone, and said, "I'm lucky to have had so many amazing women shape me. Mentors, friends, professors, and of course, my mum." Applause. I felt something behind my eyes. A sting. But I stayed quiet, until one of the friends said, "Didn't your aunt help a lot?" Emma looked at me, tilted her head, smiled. Then said, "She helped. Yeah, but, come on, she's just the aunt. Just the aunt." The words didn't explode. They settled, sank into my skin, dug into my ribs. Just the aunt. I looked down at my plate, at the napkin hiding the necklace. I could have stayed quiet, could have swallowed the moment. But then I remembered the letter. My sister's letter. She gave it to me weeks before she died. Said, "Read this only when the world forgets who you are to her." It had stayed in my bag ever since, untouched, unopened. Until now. I reached into my purse, pulled out the letter, trembling fingers, heart loud in my ears. "Actually," I said, my voice calm but sharp, "I have something I'd like to read." The table turned, eyes blinked. Emma looked confused and annoyed, but I was past caring. I opened the envelope. The paper inside was yellowed, folded twice. Familiar handwriting. My sister's voice returned instantly. "To my sister, if this is being read, then I'm gone. But I trust you to speak when I no longer can." The room fell still. I kept reading. "There's a chance my daughter will grow. She'll shine. She'll become more than I ever imagined. And in that brightness, she may forget the shadows that carried her." Emma's smile faltered. "She may forget the woman who brushed her hair after her nightmares, the woman who taught her how to tie her shoes, who stayed up late reading university brochures when I couldn't." I looked at her, then back at the letter. "If she ever forgets who her second mother was, remind her, gently, but clearly." My voice shook, but I finished. "Remind her that she had 2 women who loved her like life itself." And I placed the letter on the table. Silence. No one moved. Emma's cheeks were flushed. Her father looked down. I stood tall, not angry, not bitter, just done. I lifted the napkin. placed the box in front of Emma. This was your mother's. She gave it to me when I turned 30. She said, "This will remind you of who you are when the world tries to erase you." I pushed it gently toward her. She wanted it to come back to you, but only when you were ready to remember. And then I walked out. I didn't walk far, just to the restroom, closed the door, leaned against it. The sound of the party faded behind the wall. Laughter, forks, clinking glasses, all of it blurred. My hands trembled, not from anger, but from something deeper. That grief that has nowhere to go, the grief of being invisible, of giving and being forgotten. I looked at myself in the mirror, mascara smeared, eyes red, lips tight, and then I smiled, because I knew I had done the right thing. I hadn't shouted, I hadn't begged, I had simply reminded the room of the truth, that love doesn't need titles, that family is more than a label, that being just the aunt meant being everything when no one else could. I stayed in there for a while, then came a soft knock. "Can I come in?" Emma's voice. I opened the door slowly. She stood there, makeup perfect, as always, but her eyes, softer now, wetter. She stepped in, closed the door behind her. "I didn't know you still had that letter," she said. "I never let go of it," I replied. Silence. She looked down. "I was nervous tonight," she whispered. "I wanted everything to feel grown up, like I've moved on." I nodded. "I understand." "No, you don't," she said, her voice cracking. "I've been trying so hard to fill her space, to be okay. And sometimes that meant leaving parts of her behind, including you. That hit harder than any insult, but it was honest." "I get it," I said. "She was your mother. I'm not trying to replace her." Emma looked up. "But you did. In the moments that mattered, you did." She pulled something from her purse. "The necklace. I remember this," she said. "I used to play with it while she read to me." She opened the clasp, put it around her neck. Then she turned to me. "I'm sorry," she said, "for making you feel like a guest in our story." I didn't answer, just hugged her. And this time, it wasn't polite or brief. It was real, like family, like healing. We walked back together. The table was quieter now. People avoided my eyes. No one made jokes. Someone pulled out a chair for me, not at the corner, at the center. Emma stood beside me, raised her glass. "I just want to add something," she said. Everyone looked up. "There's someone here who gave me more than advice, more than edits on an essay. She gave me her time, her heart, and a place to cry when no one else saw me." She looked at me. "She's not just the aunt, she's the part of my mother that never left." I felt my throat tighten, and then applause. Real, warm, tearful, for the first time in years. I didn't feel like the extra chair. I felt home. Later that night, she sent me a text. "Next year, I want to celebrate your birthday too. You're not going to be invisible anymore." I smiled, turned off the light, and fell asleep with the necklace still in my hand.